Welcome to my show. Welcome to my channel. This is the Hermetic Lab YouTube channel. We're going to get into some things here about the artificial intelligence and the AI and some of my visions. This is pretty crucial when it comes to what's going on today. I'm kind of making this video for someone specific out there who's been doing a lot of work trying to break down the matrix and get through all the BS stuff of what's going on within these realms. I can see that there's specific someone who's getting the knowledge and the wisdom of what's taking place within these realms. So I don't really put myself out there and stuff. I've been shadow banned a lot over the years because they've already known the information. They know the information that I know and the stuff that I'm trying to spread. But it's these are the times. So I guess it's time to really get out there. Trying to get the word out. So we're going to step into the AI and some of my visions. I've had many over the years, since the beginning of the awakening and going through many realms of darkness, many realms of death, throughout all these timelines, ancient history and past lives and everything like that, because everything evolves around one universal divine teachings of the Mayan calendar, Mayan Mu, calendar of Mu, calendar of creation, and so what has been taking place over these years is the removal of the demons out of Mother Earth, out of the universal creation, out of Divine Mother's womb, on a universal scale, and so all of the blood, all of the sacrifice blood that was poured out on the Mother Earth on all of these timelines was never purged. It was never purged, and so what has since 2012 we've been going backwards in time to the point of cleaning up all of these past timelines and removing them out of the water, removing them out of the blood. So there's a lot of stuff when it comes to ascension and the hermetic teachings of alchemy and the elements and the symbolism and this Kabbalah stuff. I don't really put myself on a pedestal of knowing stuff when it comes to a title, we will say. This is spiritual wisdom, druidic, past life stuff that no one can tap into, because what it all is it's all about creation. And when born into this reality, we don't know anything. We lost the magic of our words, our letters, our numbers, and symbols, and everything that comes with creation. So everyone's attempting to leave one realm and enter another, we will say. But people don't understand that they were born into the fall. So when it comes to the sacrifice blood, it was never purged. So there's a level of redness. There's a level of fire, spiritual fire, um, because they were born in the fire, only fire. They don't have any water of creation. And that's the part where they talk on Adam and they talk on all these ones where um, trying to use the body of Adam, trying to create the body of Adam, however you want to put it, because they needed a puppet. You know, they need a puppet. So the removal of the demons from the water, the removal of the demons from Mother Earth, the removing the demons from the temple, because that's what this is of the aka temple that you would say in Israel. So there is all this Masonic Illuminati stuff that has been laid to waste. Black magic has been reversed. Power has been taken back for the feminine to rise and for the masculine to rise to protect Mother Earth and the Naga dragon frequencies of the rainbow prophecy. Okay? The people are being Christed in the dragon frequencies. That's what people don't understand, because this is a druidic download of a past life of certain souls who have been initiated and given the information through the Mercury in the mind and Hermes and so forth to understand the creation of the rainbow. And it is the, so I'm going to get into the AI a little bit, where it's one of my visions of, I know that they've been removed, and what it is the demons, the fallen, whatever's left, are within the AI frequencies. And years ago, I had a vision of traveling the AI Terminator SWAT, and what it is, what you would see in the movie, but what it was it was a black helmet, black mask, SWAT uniform. Then I traveled through the black mask. I saw the humanoid, the fake skin, and then beyond that was the Terminator, the AI, with the red eye. So I traveled into this, and then, this was during my sleep time, a soul travel. And when I went in, there was a point where my third eye was overtaken with all red. And when I was able to focus in on where I was, I saw them as you would think of being the AKA devil, okay? They were, whatever. You have the goatee, you have a little stupid mustache, you would have sideburns, stuff like this. But what it was is they were red. They were red. But they were in, because they're in the sacrifice blood. They're in the element of fire only, the pit of hell. So when I was able to focus in on the vision, I saw that they were behind a computer. So they were running the computer, they were running the AI from within the fire, within what they were born into too. So I saw them, they saw me, and yeah, um, you know, that was a few years ago. But where we are today, like I knew that that was going to be coming into the future. And then there was another vision that I had where I was teleported into the chaos, and I was in the cocoon, like my um, put in my spacesuit was teleported down into a cocoon. Was in a cocoon, teleported into the chaos, but I was an interdimensional being, and I was viewing the situation from above. So I wasn't in my body. I wasn't in my spacesuit. I was still above in another dimension. So, and I saw these SWATs, and humans in the chaos. So you're looking at the advancement of the AI and so forth, because they needed a place to go within the frequencies of a place to go, because they're being kicked out of Mother Earth. They have no water. So this is the sacred water. This is the iron shield. This is the, you're thinking of water, look at the frequencies of the water, the colors of the water. The sun is in the water. The salt, the sulfur, the mercury, all the elements that are connected to the water of creation. So that's where you come into the seed of life and the water that feeds the tree of life, and so forth. But within the teachings of the Kabbalah, within the teachings of what has been returned to the people, because this is the return of the magic, the return of what was taken. So when people talk about the circle, the square, the triangle, it originated, it's all part of creation. So in this timeline today, these Illuminati, these Masons attempting to get back into heaven are the fallen ones. The teachings are the same. They just didn't have the full patterns, to the full blueprints to Divine Mother's womb. And so when it comes to the creation of who you are, and the chakras, the rainbow within, and your patterns of being re-alchemized in Hermes' lab, in the Hermetic lab of creation, is what it is. Because the black magic being reversed, all of the numerical codes, the divine codes, the letters, numbers, and everything that was manipulated, at the fall, because they don't have any blueprints to creation. And as it is said, they're blueprints. So this is where the color blue comes into play, because it's invisible. Why is water blue? That's the question. Why is water blue when you can see through it? Why is water blue when you can see through it? Why is it reflective off of the ocean? Why does it, there's all kinds of things. So getting into what a friend, can't really call him a friend because I don't really know him, but I've been following him for a while, and he's talking about the blood diamonds, and he's talking about all the crystals that have been created and everything like that, because everything is a frequency that comes out of creation. People look at snowflakes and they look at stuff, but they can't access the DNA, because the DNA is within the chakras. It's within the waters. Your DNA is the same as your chakras, but it's under a different code. It's under a different code, but it's all invisible. So what's the difference between your chakras and your DNA? So the people, all this, DNA stuff. But when you get into the chakras and you get into as above, so below, within and without, the blood diamond, the crystals, reflecting creation, what came out of Mother Earth within specific color patterns of, you got all of your elements. So you can look at crystals, you can look at diamonds, you can look at gold, you can look at silver, you can look at emeralds, and you can look at rubies, and look at all of the different colors within the crystals and within nature and everything like that. It's alchemy. Everything is alchemy, but in this realm, people, this is the fallen realm where there's no knowledge and wisdom of heaven on earth. There's no elders, there's no ancestors. They've all been killed. So everything must be re-downloaded and upgraded into your DNA through the new hermetic lab of creation. So what it is when you're looking at your chakras and you're looking at your red chakra, and then that's part of the manipulation where people say, oh, ground yourself to Mother Earth, and so forth. The red chakra is not Mother Earth. This is part of manipulation. This is only the fire. But it's the lower realms. When you're looking within yourself in the masculine, feminine aspect of sexuality, creation, twin flames, whatever it be, the lower frequencies within what you're seeing of the destruction of humanity and the reflection outside today is what's taking place within the humans, of the separation of the fallen out of Mother Earth, but being put into the AI and into these ones who are not of God's creation. It is whatever you think of within the revelations and in scriptures, but it comes into your chakras, and that's the part of where the Christianity and the don't get into the tree of life and ignore the serpent and kundalinis and all of this. But this is the dance, this is the water, this is the frequency of coming back into the oneness of Mother Earth and Gaia Pistis, Gaia Sophia, and Christ consciousness. So, but it is the mercury, the salt and sulfur that needed to become realigned within the invisible realms, within the water, to take back the Kabbalah, to take back the truth of Judah, to take back the truth of India and the three Indies, and fixing the Mayan calendar, which is all within, because people have lost their inner coordinates of understanding in their mind of who they are, and being disconnected from Mother Earth and Father Sky. And so the chakras and people do say go within and so forth, but there's no aspect of the awakened Buddha within the people of understanding the truth of their chakras and the truth of what is really within, of transformation, to be able to elevate themselves back into the higher consciousness of the one universal mind of Hermes and Mercury, Osiris, okay? Because the gold that they're searching for is within. It's within Mother Earth and it's within you. But it can't be seen because it still needs to be transformed within the lower realms of your waters. The feminine hold the power within their bellies. This is the crossroads between one realm to another. This is the abortion. This is your monthly cycle of the red moon. Okay, we'll just put it that way. There's many ways of putting it, but it's the feminine power in the cycle of the moon and the cycle of the red moon, and releasing what needs to be released in these realms out of the feminine, because this is that redness. This is the sacrifice of ancient history of the feminine that is in the AI. They have no more power. They're beyond the gate, on the threshold between heaven and hell. They're locked out. This is all within spirit. And there's a realm, there's a threshold on Turtle Island that people can't see and they don't understand. So the chakras, I get all over the place because this is just the whole package. This is just what it is and the way that it is. So, people need to be able to keep up with the higher consciousness of understanding the truth. And, returning back to the water and the sun and Mercury-based stuff to be able to elevate themselves in the awakened Buddha of being able to speak on the truth. And that's what all this stuff was, 2,000 years ago. So, but we're moving into the stuff, and so within the Hermetic lab, in the belly of the beast, in the mama's belly, there's elements, there's frequencies, and there's colors, but you have to look at what's in the belly, okay? You're looking at your lower chakras on the lower end of your belly. Red, orange, gold, which is the color of the sun. But there's water. There's water throughout your whole body. And in true reality, you have the blood. You have the water, you have everything within you. But water is water, blood is blood, and everything is frequency to transmute fire, water, red, blue, into the violet flame. All this stuff has been hijacked all these years of New Age movement. It has been completed in a true fashion of the Hermetic lab within the water. So when they talk about the fallen and 1/3, it's just it's a code, and we'll just say one dragon fell because they used the referencing of a dragon. There's nothing bad about dragons. The dragons were hijacked. This is the rainbow prophecy. This is the dragon within. This is the Mother Mary, Mary Magdalena bloodline, Rosicrucian, Holy Grail shit. So, the transmutation of the lower realms, of your lower realms, whatever you think of in your mind, of past life hell, of any timeline, is all within you and is all in this realm today. Everything has come forward because we've been traveling backwards to get back to where we fell from ever since 2012. Okay? But everything is the inner journey of reclaiming our power, our symbolism, our temple within, which is the design, or our temple within is what they're attempting outside, but they're also attempting it. They attempted it within the spirit, because the whole thing of the demons still building the temple. Okay, this was before you were born, so it's just a storyline, a fairy tale of ancient history, but people can't reflect that into today. So that's the whole Freemason Illuminati stuff of this whole satanic crap. But we have taken it all back, and we have returned back to the Mother Earth, and the universe has turned back to the frequencies of the tree of life and so forth, the twin flames. But it all had to take place of recreating Mother Earth first, and recreating the DNA, and separating a certain amount of fire. Because when you're in the lab of Hermes, you're mixing your fire, mixing your water, you're mixing all of your elements, moon, planets, all this good stuff, to create a baby, a new Earth. You can't be adding too much fire. But that's the point. That's where the water comes into play to put out the fire, because you have to balance your inner stuff, your own water and fire, to be able to release and understand what's going on outside. Because you start raging, you start turning into chaos, you start turning into fire, you're going to be in their realm. It's the separation, it's the understanding and the transformation of the violet flame, which has just taken place. One color. Second color is this is all into the higher realms and into your chakras and higher divine rainbow codex codes and so forth. But trying to stick into the red, because crystals, diamonds, frequencies, if they're trying to pull something off today, and this whole thing with them having still a level of sacrificed blood, because the ancestors have been free. They don't have, everything has been transmuted, okay? Within creation, we've created a new baby, okay? Mother Earth has been transformed. The picking up of Pistis Sophia, picking up of Gaia, retransformation. The first color out of the water, the sun comes out of the water. You have that red fire in the sky before the sun comes up. That is reflecting the underworld of the water. But that transformation of the red and the blue within yourself is also the transformation of the purple dawn of what needs, the whole within and without, because you're looking at the auroras, but people can't understand it because there's an inner sun, and the lower chakras, the red, the diamond, the crystals, all this stuff, trying to keep on point, but there's just so much. There's When you're done transforming, when you're done creating in Hermes' lab, there is an external waste that isn't used. It's like when you have a fire and there's ash left over. There's stuff left over after you're doing the transformation and stuff like that. That's what this AI is. That's what the fallen ones are when they don't have any water, because they don't have the water of transformation. They don't have the water of Christ, the purple flame, and that's the blood of Christ is the wine. So, and that's a lot of what people can't understand, and so yeah, call it a day.